Now, this part of our presentation is about communication between the licensees and Calendar Club. So, in our next responses, let's talk about that aspect. We'll come to communicating with customers later on.
When you're dealing with a customer,
Yep.
you have to learn as the seller to keep calm
Yep.
and not lose your temper,
Yep.
because that can cost you a sale. The customer will get irritated with the way you're handling them
Yep.
and leave.
So keep calm. Keep calm in communication and be clear about it. So during the off-season, we recognised that as one of the things that we needed to try to innovate was to create some very clear communication channels between ourselves and you, the licensees. So we went away and we thought, how could we do this? And we've come up with a solution which we're going to term the communications portal. Basically what it is a ticketing system for your requests of us, so that we can track those things from beginning to end. So we can judge our own and be critical of our own responses, and we hopefully can be clear in our communication and so forth. Now, Pete and I are going to give you a demonstration of how this will work this season. So I'm going to just escape out of here and go into my browser, and I can actually, using any browsing tool on a PC or an iPad or an iPhone or a smartphone, I can type in the calendarclub.zendesk.com and it will take me to this particular page.
Does that mean I can only get it from my POS?
You can get it from your POS as well. That's another place where we've installed this as an icon on your desktop on your point of sale machine, so that if you're connected to the internet at the time, you can go to and search through on your POS machine to do this. Now, to do this demonstration, I need to log in. Aha! Beautiful. And to do that, you've been given a login. We're going to use Airport West login. Which is that and a password. These came out in your welcome pack. Now hopefully I've got all this correct and we'll be able to log in. Look at that, it's welcomed me back and said, "You're Airport West, welcome back." So some of the features of our portal here is that we're currently on the home page, where you'll be able to see newsletters, the manual, information about freight and tracking it, some training videos, and we'll probably put the video that's been taken here today up on there. Some useful links, such as night safe locations for Westpac, some IT help desk, merchandise help desk, where you can find different versions of the planogram and so forth, and administration help desk. So that's all there on your home page, so that you can search through that and see what is available. We've got a forum. The forums can be searched, and you might have a problem with your cash drawer. If you type in cash drawer into this forum, it might give you a solution. But the thing that we want to demonstrate how simple it is for you today, Peter and I, is the way to go about submitting a request. So I'm going to submit a request now on the Submit a Request tab. And I'm going to give it a subject of help for planogram. And then I'm going to tab down into the description of my problem. Hi, I am having trouble with my planogram. Can you advise? Oh, there
And
we
my
go.
spelling.
Spelling? Can you help me with my spelling? Okay. Advise how to set up the value end. Okay. So in your description, you want to give us a brief description that contains the key points, the things that you really want an answer to. Spelling isn't particularly important, neither is grammar, but I'll put a question mark on the end just to help everybody feel better. And then we go down and we can submit that request. So the request has been submitted and it's been given ticket number 133, help for planogram. Now, naturally I'm not going to get an immediate response to that. It's not an urgent issue, it's something that can be dealt with over time. But if I need to see if I need to review my requests, here are the ones that have already been solved. And here are the ones that are currently open. So you'll see 133, help, is currently open. So there's a couple of bars over there. So Peter has now responded to that. And if I go in and have a look at that, then the response is that the ticket 133 has now been assigned, and within one business day we'll get you a response. So hopefully within a few hours of making your request, you'll get a response of this nature telling you how long it's going to take us to fix things or give you a response. Now, just time is passing on and Pete's working on his response to me, which is probably something along the lines of fix your spelling, Steve. But we'll see what happens. So if you can imagine for me now that we've waited that day and we've come back in on either our point of sale machine, our iPad, our PC, or even a smartphone. And we've come back in.
Yep.
Then we should be go back to our requests. Sorry guys. Check existing requests. And we have no open tickets. Aha. So clearly we need to look for them here. And down the bottom here we've got help for planogram. And we'll see that there's my initial request. Here's my notification that somebody will get back to me shortly. And Peter has kindly get back to me. Thanks for your request. The value assembles in one easy fit hole fixture, so forth and so forth. See page number so and so of your planogram. And thank you from Sarah. Well done, Pete.
So what we did with this communication portal is a couple of things. Number one is we again want to hold ourselves accountable and also keep stuff visible. So it does a couple of things for us. It helps us track symptoms so that we can address causes. So we might be finding that there might be a chronic problem with the fixture, and we've had in the last 2 days 16 stores tell us this thing's broken. So that'll actually help us have a solution rather than deal with something 130 times. It also might help us actually understand that someone's too busy and they're not getting back to our licensees quick enough. So that, again, allocating resources. It is a ticket system. This ticket here, as an example, has been closed by Sarah at any time, whether now or in the coming weeks, right up to the end of the season year. She can find this ticket and reopen it. Just say, this same problem's come up again. So rather than retyping the whole thing and going through the rigmarole, we can actually say this ticket's been reopened because from the licensee side it's not solved. And we can actually track it ourselves. We don't have to ask a whole lot of frustrating questions all over again and really get to what we think is a solution quicker. Okay, so it really is a case of confining it to here so that we can basically help you help us.
So continuing this particular example through, Sarah or Peter, however you want to see it, has actually closed this ticket. We see it as finished. You may not. If you don't see it as finished, then add a comment and press submit and it's reopened. If you do see it finished and you want to congratulate Sarah on her response, you can tick the request is solved and congratulate her on response. It's not necessary, but sometimes nice to do. So a couple other features that I want you to show you in regards to this. If I'm submitting a request and in the subject line, and this is where spelling does come in handy, you'll see if I type in the word adapter, it's brought up this suggestion, power adapter broken. So in your subject line, we have saved a similar response that might work for you. You can search this and you can say, oh, if I do these particular things with my power adapter, then it might be that I can solve my problem without even having to go through an exchange with Calendar Club. So use that particular feature.
We'll be building that database, so all the appropriate answers that we feel should be made public. So again, no one will ever know where that interchange came from. So all the communication between Calendar Club and yourself is completely private, but the agent who's working on your actual request might go, that's a pretty good response. It happens a couple times. So that will actually be posted to that forum, again confidentially, but it actually may help other licensees solve their problem on the spot.
So, what are we going to use this for? We're going to use this for almost everything. This is the primary source of communication. So, for instance, the old licensees will know of a document called the weekly sales report. The new guys will see how that works over the weekend. When you've completed a weekly sales report, this is where you'll put it. And you'll put into the subject line, Airport West, weekly sales report. Here's my weekly sales report. Down here, there's an attached files. So you can go to your C drive on your computer and you can attach any file, including the weekly sales report. When we do the receiving stock demonstration, you'll see that there's lots of paperwork that you'll need to send to us. You scan a copy of that paperwork, put it onto your C drive and attach it here with some clear ideas in the instruction. The final one was, as people know, and we'll describe this process later, we do a first day photo program where you're required to take 12 photographs of your store on the first day and submit them to us for a review. Last year we used a tool called Dropbox and that worked really well, but we believe this will work even better because they will go in and they will be ticketed and they'll be tracked from beginning to end. This is where you attach your photos for the first day photo review. The one thing I'd say to you is that the attachments in this system have a 20 megabyte limit, which is really quite a lot.
It's double what an email will take typically. Emails are limited to 10 megabytes.
This is limited to 20. If you're using one of these fancy high-resolution cameras, then they're probably going to be too big, the files, the 12 photos. If you're using your iPhone, it should be fine. If you've got settings where it allows you to reduce the size of the photos, do that, and then they'll all attach successfully and move on. Okay. So I'm just going to come out here and bring another slide up. And by the way, the communications portal, I can use it, you can use it. Because believe me, 3 times a day I will ask for Sarah or Mokhtar or in the office or Chris's help, how do I do this? Right? And they kindly show me and bear with me on that. If I can use this communications portal, I have every confidence that everybody in this room can.
And the good thing is, guys, you don't have to be limited to your store. So as licensees, you can choose to be at the store or not. So anything that's got an internet connection, you can access your own portal with us. Okay, so you do not have to be at the store. You can even do it on your iPhone while you're having a cup of tea in Hawaii if you want to.
So if you've ever been standing in a room full of young kids and they're all talking to you at once, you get very confused very easily. And And what we find at Calendar Club is that if our licensees are all shooting information to us at once over the telephone and by email and things like that, there's no way to sort it and filter it and organise it. But with the communications portal, there is a way through the ticketing system, and that's why we ask you, when communicating from you to us, please use the communications portal. It will help us to prioritise and to get back to you sooner with a more appropriate response in every case. Now, there's one exception to that. That's if the matter is urgent. And who can describe, and it's up there on the screen, who can describe for us what is urgent? Not able to trade. So if you can't sell calendars to customers, that's urgent. Everything else is a lower priority and needs to go through the communications portal. If it is in fact urgent, then you will use this number, which is peppered throughout your manuals, 1300 366 886 for Australia. There's a different number for New Zealand. And what will happen is that the people at the other end will ask you a couple of brief questions, which include, have you logged the ticket? And because it's urgent, you may not have logged the ticket. So what they will do is they'll log a ticket for you, and I'll do one more thing, that's send us a text message. And in that case, we'll get back to you within 2 hours, because we've had a text message come to a key person in the business, and that person will respond to that as an urgent issue. For all other communication, it goes through the comms portal. For all other paperwork that we're exchanging or photos that we're exchanging, it goes through the communications portal. Is there anything else to say on that? Okay. Communications with licensees. We will try to restrict our communication purely to the comms portal as well. We'll post newsletters, business performance indicators, all sorts of different things like that onto the portal as the key way to communicate. We will also respond to your requests through the communications portal. From time to time, some of our systems will email you certain documents. The emails will initially go to your CalClub email address, such as airportwest@calclub.com.au. All of those CalClub emails are forwarded onto the business email address that you've supplied us with, or for want of a better term, your personal email address. We will notify you of deliveries using SMS. We'll explain how that process goes through before the end of the morning. If we need to get a message out to all of you in a hurry en masse, we will also use text message or SMS. Okay. If we need to get in touch with you urgently and speak to you about an issue or an opportunity, then we'll use the licensee phone. That's your personal telephone, your business telephone, the number that you've already supplied us with. The store phone that we supply you, and you'll see this in the POS demonstration, is used for your customers to get in touch with you. And there's one other thing that we do regularly, and that is use the website. So that's our method of communicating with